start of the day, I'm talking about magic, thinking particularly, oh, I have seen a lot of deer around. And that one's just standing up. Hi. From a little sleep. Bothered by me. They're just moving on to the next step in the watches of the sun. And I saw another one earlier. And so that's one at the beginning of the day, one near the end. Hi. That's lovely. Okay. Just gonna have a listen. It's a really quite a generally mild sort of day. So. Okay. Joint me. Mm-hmm. The deer is not even looking at me. They see me as harmless. They see me as another deer. I'm like a deer myself. And I just commend you to say, look, you're doing a good job dealing with evil. Essentially, what's hard about dealing with evil is that it's everywhere every day. You just don't always notice it. And you could wonder, like, where's it going to come now? As long as you're working on it every day, the problem of evil, well, you'll probably do okay. Just, at some point, you just go your own way, go your own way. You can be a commendable human being. Vociferous complaints of the overwhelmingly disastrous exertions which all human beings undertake to make the world a better place. Boom, go to it, right? I love my mom, I love my dad. I love that my occupations, even though in many cases estranged, I think necessarily so from most of my family, that, hey, it's a Tui. Hey. Birds have been coming very close. Hi, hey, 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 hey. So the deer still isn't moving away. So we're not. What I haven't had a lot of today is probably water. So let's do that. Deer, I love it when they coexist. The birds. I had to light my bum. There's smoke coming out of the chimney. Oh, there's an eagle. But my occupations make my family strong. Their lives are improved not by some magical qigong or tai chi or anything. In all of my mom's occupations, she's been preserved against evil. I've seen her go to chiropractors and acupuncturists and naturopaths, and always she's able to get away from these people. They always show her. She doesn't acknowledge it the way I do, but they're all charlatans. Therapists. They take your money, they give you nothing, you go away going, all my clients, it changes their life. But they never really, no one tells them that they suck shit. If you deal with human needs as you imagine them to be understood by you in your profession, you don't think you're doing any wrong. You are wrong. You're nothing but wrong. You got up with two wrong feet every fucking day that you went to work. Let's go. Okay. Oh, they sat back. What's that? Oh, it's my I eat one of these a day. It's not raining. Now the deer is looking at me. He's like, are you going? Yes. Soon. And the deer. Oh, I am the deer. My friend. Or might as well have the antlers of the stag. Reminiscent of raccoons. To deal with the world of masks and thievery. Beer cans, which always remind me of the alcoholic nature of man. When I listen to signals, and thank you. Great strength to you. Beautiful white snout. I would never think of approaching you. Yeah. But I would like your medicine to approach me, and I thank your medicine for being there for me when almost nothing else was, to keep me walking in the fretful measures of dread that can occupy a man of sufficient purity of mind when interacting with the cult-like orders of the world, not the orders of my blood, in that our blood should constitute all the natural organs of man and society in its totality. This world is not suitable for my blood. It takes your blood, it drinks your blood, like a bunch of Christians going, thank you. The food that never runs out, the body of Jesus. Have some Jeezies. You can make up pie types of food that have to do with the body of Jesus. Jesus' toes. Nail-biting pickled dick. This is something that is scented. Chefs will be on TV. It's scented there of the production of various discharges in his anus as he was hanging there for the 13th hour. A rare vintage. And yet it never runs out. His body is like the loaves and fishes. It's always there for you to drink. And who do you think is supplying this orgiastic feast? All the workers of the world. We launder it and make it positive so it all seems really nice. But we descend the syllables so that we extricate ourselves in ways that use the imagination that has otherwise been employed to prop up various industrial orders of human magical thinking. So you might say, well, you're just a religious nut. Well, so are you. Right? You're going to use your magical thoughts one way. I'm going to allow them to be informed by what is darkest. What are you going to do? Man knows anything about animal medicine who's not dealt with evil in his life. I'm going to try to get myself into that. I'm getting a nice little short story when I go. I haven't done it for a while. It'd be, I think, a nice relaxing thing for me to do. And I've seen the hymn a couple times today. Female then male, which tells me that I've balanced energy. Beginning my day, a doe, and then a stag. A young stag. So I was like, nice. Round up, baby, round up, baby. To be honest with you, I don't feel in perfect health, but there's a few imbalances. I've had to deal with a lot of shocks. I'm bound to have some abdominal flutteries. But yes, I think I had some pretty good cards today. And my cards always seem to pan out in my day, and each day seems to be stronger. This year is the year of positivity. But funny enough, it doesn't really start till my birthday. So winding up a load of negative stuff before my birthday in the spring. And the time of year, in fact, when my mom was growing in her mother's belly. So I think it's actually quite a sacred time of year for my mom. And she was probably conceived around March. Yeah, around the end of March. Probably around the spring equinox. I think my mom was conceived around the spring equinox. So what an amazing thing. I'm thinking about like, what places in the world would I go to associate with my mother? And I thought, well, the home I grew up in, or a lake we went to, or a river. And I think, what about the spring equinox? What do I mark that as my mother's time of year? It's also around International Women's Day. So the spring equinox will be my mother's own in the creation of my life. And my father was actually probably conceived around about now. Or about a month earlier, so maybe the end of February. So it's kind of interesting. Probably around Valentine's Day. I think my dad was probably conceived around Valentine's Day. Well, let me think. No, I'm probably round about now. My dad was conceived. No, how does that work? Yeah, anyway, between now and Valentine's Day, probably my dad was conceived. Isn't that neat? Or the end of February, I think. One of them. Or January. Yeah, probably around Valentine's Day, my dad was conceived. Isn't it interesting? It's cool. One of the apocryphal quotes from Jesus is like, you should assume everybody means well. Assume everybody means well. Really. There's a guy in Silverado, I can't remember the guy's name, would come to me. And he says, you can either live your life as though everyone's your enemy, or live your life as though everyone's your friend. This is Gnostic craft, right? Really. And so he ends up almost dying, but then meeting his best friend. So it's like, it's a kind of catastrophic way to live, isn't it? It's like dumbfounds your judgment. Wouldn't it be better to just kind of be able to use your judgment to find out whether the person you're dealing with is good or evil? Right? So you see the stupefying nature of theater. Kevin Kline, I think is his name. Yeah. Right? It gives you an example of what I said earlier. Theater is about perversions of the mind that lower your inhibition. So you probably watch that movie, you would think about it, even as I say the words, and go, you know what? It basically that's an apple off the tree of the control of the human mind. So you're familiar with it. You're familiar with that type of subliminal discourse. Like, oh, that's nice. It almost sounds wise, doesn't it? But in an uncanny, comedic, and tragic way, it gets him almost killed. But he meets his best friend. Right? It's a risky way to live. Should you live in a risky way to meet your best friend? And so all these types of things, the theater of the damned, which is playing upon the instrument of the soul. Whose self conjured up under oppressive circumstances that enjoys the exploits of a very difficult but often very exciting realm. Live once, dance. Live quick, die quick. Live fast, die young. All that type of stuff. Work like a demon. Don't worry, the football game at the end of existence will be worth it. Win the Super Bowl. Night will finally vanquish the day. Day will vanquish, and Jesus will return and commend us all for eating his body and drinking his blood for 1,000 years. Our children be like, well, that was really us, but that's okay. All right. Well, I feel smart. There's a woman with a dog, and I watched her go down the hill, crossing the road, and she suddenly just rides with her bike right by me and lets her dog sniff at this tree, just about 20 feet ahead of me, just putting herself within my field of view. This is how women with dogs sometimes troll for men. Just being discreet about it. I'm just keeping my attention off of her. Don't need to know her, don't need to see her. I'm just trolling. Maybe not. Maybe subconscious. Maybe I'm just making up. I always notice when someone appears and then reappears in my vicinity. Right? Just make sure that you don't see them or don't acknowledge them anyway. Just keep walking because I can feel in my mind. Right? A woman puts herself in front of you when she could be anywhere else, and it's a bit weird. Looks like it's counting down. Oh, I see. It was counting down. And don't pay attention. And just see if she rides by me again. Kind of funny. Mostly innocuous again, like the deer. I'm just minding my own business. Right? You could look over and look at the dog or say. It's funny how their dogs always want to sniff the tree nearest to you. Animals are a woman's best friend. I've had a woman with a dog, and I knew 100 yards away that she was going to let her dog sniff me. And I'm walking through a busy park, and sure enough, she walks right up to me, and her dog sniffs me. You can predict their behavior because their agenda has little demons that rush out ahead of them in time and announce their imminent thing. I've walked with women around con artists, men and women, and you can tell they're going to walk up to you. They peg you early on. And of course, you're just paranoid if you can sense this. In fact, what you pick up is what they're telegraphing. Sometimes it's to their advantage. And they might be trained to sublimate such signals as unfriendly and unsocial. I mean, most of the people who ever heard me telegraphed the fact that they would. But in deference to being social and generous and wanting to be positive and see the best in people, we simply laundered that information. We cleaned them up in your own mind, edited the signals. Down to the beach quickly today. I noticed another woman walking in my vicinity. And when I noticed, now my body is told me always walk on the beach. Stop walking. Even in February or January, the weather changes. More people are coming out. I noticed it. People coming out, bugging out. They're all unhealthy. They're all sick. They're not coming to the beach to treat you like a 5-year-old who's just there to enjoy the spirit of the land. And Father, and the where sky and water and earth and tides unknown meet with the many seconds and magical thoughts and surviving inclinations of the delicate vellum of the human mind. No, they're coming out to just kind of go out like dreamers and to potentially suck up your energy at the end of your day. I find walking by them as I look up, I see nothing but obese people everywhere. This is not a healthy problem. These people usually under the age of 30. And the women, even 30, look like they're 50. And it's almost like, it's strange when I see unhealthy women who get easily sexually excited. Because to be sexually excited is to be demonically excited. Because what is sexual is sacrificial. Things are consumed in those flames which should not be consumed, including your natural inhibitions about my dignity as a man. And along this stretch of road or this wooden boardwalk, I have met with such interesting and horrible female behavior. And I noticed that even if no one talks to me walking along here, just near the people makes me sick. I walk along the beach, just makes me sick. I'd rather be close to nature, just like I am the rest of my day. I don't want to be near these people. There's such a separation between what you find on the boardwalk and what you find walking along the beach. I just can't stand it anymore. And I was in the bath one day. They Landon, if you want to improve your day, don't walk down there anymore. Don't stand at the gazebo and make yourself a spectacle. You don't want to be near these people. They make you sick. Keep yourself pure. Keep yourself away from them. Particularly, say, at the end of the day. And you can keep talking, you can keep being yourself. Because when you get near people, you have to shut up. When I look over, I see a tremendously obese female. And I look in here, and there's another one. And there's something else, healthy looking. But you don't know. Since I'm on phone. I always think people on phone are conspiracy, but then again, I'm talking this thing over here. Fine, I'm not running into anyone. And then as the weather warms up, I can go into the beach. So if the tide's in now, it means that most of the day is probably out. Not always true, but there's a bit of a slack tide, and I might decide to venture forth the other way tomorrow. We'll see. Look, there's a sacred path stone. Oh, that's a second. Today. Oh. Horus, Horus, with a C, related to Set, death, god of the dawn, consumed by Nut, or the night. Right? All of Egypt is death magic. It goes back to denial, right? Denial, denial. D for death. Death from denial. It's like alchemy, science, the divine science, the Bible, conquering the human heart, subduing the human mind. Right? Sound familiar? Egypt is just made up. It's made up as 9/11. The deaths are real. The story is not. It's part of weaving the world of antiquity, weaving the world of time, anthropology, astronomy, right? Weaving a virtual world for the human animal. What do you think you would be as a human animal if you just lived in a different world, right? In the world game mind, these are all just parameters that have been set by the royal programmers. All so they can keep their control over you, right? Theater, culture, language, economics. None of this means you have to quit the system and join the Peace Corps. It's what it does. It claims what it feels belongs to it, unless you sort of practice a kind of measured dissent. That's what we do. It's what everybody does. If you go to work, that's your rebellion in a way, and if I don't, that's my rebellion. And just like the world can fuck you in any direction, you can save yourself in any direction. It's not so much what you do, it's why and how you do it. Because you're a human. You know, you can launder the world's devices, or you can learn from them. You have choices. It's good. It's about 2 o'clock. That's a nice man in his car. You can tell he has nice energy. You know, cars magnify the demonic in people's minds, or they can magnify the virtuous. I don't often pass the darkened Tim's cars and feel really good energy. Yeah? And people in their cars, they're a little more in themselves, never more so than when you first get into your car. It's kind of a very honest, vulnerable moment. Lock it, turn on the car, the radio, take a deep breath, arrange yourself, you know, look at your shopping list. It's a place of change, motion, rest, reprieve, a place to recoup, a place to rally your energies. So it's a very honest place, a temple. I love getting into my mom's car. But it does have its conditions. You pay a lot for the gas. Descent through Logo Absentio.